Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Kind of wanted to switch it up, do something different, but obviously keep it in the realm of gaming, keep it on the theme of gaming, right? We play a lot of horror games on this channel, but this is obviously not just a horror game channel, it is a gaming in general channel. So what better thing to do than, you know, a tier list. Tier lists are fun. They're
very fun.
I came up with the idea to do a quick tier list on best gaming series. You can also probably say best gaming franchise. I said, you know what? Let's put this on paper and get some people riled up with some of the stuff that I might say, or some of the gaming series that I might rank low, rank high. I wanted to keep it relatively, you know, reasonable, and I only got 18 gaming series. So let's go over the qualifications, right? So what are the qualifications? The qualifications is the game has to have at least a sequel and or prequel, or so there has to at least be a part 2 or so and so 2. Like I got The Last of Us on here. Obviously there was a Last of Us 1 and 2. I have Red Dead on here. There's Red Dead 1 and 2. Now let me give a disclaimer. These are the games that I kind of, you know, either fell in love with personally. Now some of these I actually haven't played. Oh wow, that shouldn't be a big shocker. Don't sue me. Don't, you know, don't come for me, right? A lot of these I have played. The majority of these I have played at some point, whether it was several years ago, very recently. So I think I have a good kind of tell of if these games are actually, you know, higher ranked or lower ranked. With that rambling out of the way, and I'll kind of explain more as we go through it. We're gonna be ranking these literally left to right, starting with Fear. A lot of you guys probably don't even know what Fear is. This is probably, especially if I have like younger viewers watching this, gonna be like, what the hell is Fear? So Fear is an acronym. It stands for First Encounter Assault Recon. Trying to remember. And I got handy dandy Google here to help me out if I get stuck on any of this stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. But this game was essentially about this little girl who had powers. I guess you can say psychic powers, and it kind of got real bad, and she eventually started killing people, but she was only kind of killing people because she was being tested and all this type of thing. This was probably my first introduction, other than another game that we'll kind of talk about here, but this was probably one of my first introductions to actually heavy story-based horror games, because this game had a lot, and I mean a lot, of horror elements in it. I think Fear 2 was probably my favorite. I played a little bit of Fear 3, never finished that one, but Fear 1 and Fear 2 were those were my jams. So where do we put Fear? I would probably have to put Fear as a series, especially since I didn't finish part 3. Now I will add another tidbit. Some of these that I haven't played on here at all, I have watched other people play it, and I still feel like I can give a very good explanation as to where it ranks, even if I haven't played it myself, because watching the gameplay essentially creates an atmosphere where, you know, you feel like, okay, well, I think I'm gonna have to put Fear in C tier. It's definitely not D. We're gonna go with C tier. Yeah, Fear goes up in C tier. Next on the list is, I hate that I have some of these in the order that I have them in, because it's like, boom, this going to S tier, this going to S tier, this going to S tier. I'm not gonna do that. My goal is to not have more than 5 of these in S tier. I don't know if that's gonna work out that way, but we'll see. Last of Us. Now I'm about to piss a lot of people off very early in this video. I have not played The Last of Us, but I have watched gameplay, full gameplay walkthroughs on both The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2. And obviously This game, we already know what it's about. Massive outbreak. People got to survive in kind of this zombie-esque apocalypse. People are fighting each other, not getting along, etc., etc. I know I'm missing a lot of other plot points. This game is very, very heavily story-driven, and that shit is going in B tier. I'm kidding. This is definitely S tier. What can I say? I mean, I know I didn't play it. I should have played it. I have a PS5 as well as a PC, obviously, but you know, I missed out on that one. Next up, Red Dead Redemption. I can't remember if there was a Red Dead before Red Dead Redemption. Y'all can let me know in the comments. I could just check it, but this is how I'm gonna make y'all like start talking to me more. So instead of me going to Google, which I can obviously do that right here, just let me know in the comments if there was anything before the redemption part, if it was just Red Dead, because I think it was. Might got that wrong. Don't know. Can't remember. A Red Dead is something that I did play. I played Red Dead Redemption 1, never got up into Red Dead Redemption 2. I didn't finish Red Dead Redemption 1. But obviously I've watched a lot of gameplay around Red Dead Redemption 2 and a lot of the changes made, how it expanded, you know, the map, how it expanded the exploration, obviously the story that was involved. You're going to hear me repeat that a lot. With most of the games that are going up in S tier are going to be very, very story, driven. So you're probably going to hear me repeating that a lot. Obviously, we already know where Red Dead is going. We got to stick that one in you know, in the top at S tier. So next on the list, we have Splinter Cell. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. This is another oldie but goodie. As I'm doing this, my mind is just kind of traveling back, right? It's traveling back to being, fuck, I don't know how old I was. Splinter Cell Conviction, and this might be a very, very wild take. I don't think it is. I think Splinter Cell Conviction was the best Splinter Cell ever made. It gave purpose. It gave an epic story. And it was honestly somewhat of a different Splinter Cell experience, at least in my opinion. This as a series probably deserves B tier. I think that's fair. Assassin's Creed, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna stop moving them up because that's gonna kind of like let y'all know where it might end up going. But Assassin's Creed, I changed this to white so it can like pop a little bit better as I put these up there. Hopefully it's not I was about to say illegible. Hopefully it's not unlegible. Whatever the opposite of illegible is, I hope it's not that. Assassin's Creed, man, this game takes me back. This series has evolved over time to something that's, and you're gonna hear me repeat this with other you know, franchises or gaming series. It kind of evolved to something else over time, and I feel like this is one that got kind of lost in the mix, so to speak, the core elements. And I think this is something that the fan base has actually kind of chimed in on over time too, is that the core elements that this game was kind of based around and kind of developed on, it's just I don't want to say unapparent now, but it's just not what it was. I remember playing this game, right? My favorite thing to do, I treated this game like Grand Theft Auto, and obviously we got Grand Theft Auto on the list. We'll see where that ranks at, but this game, I used to treat it like Grand Theft Auto. Sometimes I get on, I'm not even trying to complete missions or side missions, depending on which one I was playing. I'm trying to go in and just run around killing people and get away from the law. That's essentially how I used to play this. I did finish a couple. I can't remember what the last one I played. I haven't played Assassin's Creed in well over 10 years for sure. This might be our first A tier. Huh. Is Assassin's Creed really A tier over Splinter Cell and Fear? As a series, because again, we're looking at this as a series, guys, like as a franchise, I don't want to use franchise. I'm not going to say that anymore. I'm just going to use gaming series, but essentially the same thing. As a gaming series, I think it deserves A tier. The reason why it deserves A tier is because it used to be so much more epic than what it is now. Lately, let's say if Assassin's Creed only had the credibility of the last 3 games that it made, I don't think it's even B tier. I'm sorry, it might be C tier. This one has a special place in my heart, this next one, because I don't know if y'all know or not, but I am a huge die-hard fanboy. I love Batman so much. This is my favorite fictional character of all time. I don't care if we're just talking about superheroes. I don't care if we're talking about aliens. I don't care if we're talking about what. Batman is that dude, and this symbol is supposed to represent the Batman Arkham series. I'm pretty sure this ain't the official symbol for it, but I mean, a lot of these, kind of logos I have here aren't necessarily the official series logos for these games, but it's just so you guys can be familiar, right? Batman is obviously going in S tier. Man, I have played every single Arkham game from back to front except Arkham Origins. I have played Arkham Asylum, beat it like 3 times. I have played Arkham City. I beat that once. I have played Arkham Knight. I beat that one like 2 times. Arkham Knight really changed the game when it comes to a superhero based grounded gaming experience with, slight fantastical elements. But this was very, very amazing. I don't know what else to say about the Batman Arkham series. I mean, Arkham Asylum really set the foundation for what could be done in a superhero video game with the unique puzzles that it had, and that was only expounded upon in Batman, Arkham City and Arkham Knight, even Arkham Origins. Man, it's just so nostalgic. Oh, S tier, through and through S tier. I think what I'm gonna do is, instead of keep going left to right, I think I'm just gonna kind of grab some of these and kind of do it as I please. And I think I want to grab The Legend of Zelda. I've never played this game. I've heard that it is an amazing experience, but the game looks absolutely ass. And no, I'm not joking this time. I'm not a fan of games such as this. This is just my opinion. I know I'm about to get demolished in the comments, but respectfully, I'm gonna put it in B tier. I haven't played it. I haven't even watched anything on it. I can only go off what I've been told. I've been told that it's S tier. I've been told that it's it. Did y'all see that spit fly out of my mouth? I've been told that it's S tier, but oh hell no. It's respectfully is going in B tier. Because no. I think I should go ahead and get this one out of the way. Super Mario Brothers. This series is essentially like, you can't talk about gaming unless you talk about Super Mario. Shit, was Super Mario on the GameCube? I can't remember. Let me know if Super Mario was on the GameCube, because I first started gaming. I'm not a Nintendo baby. I'm sorry. The Nintendo came out when I was born. I was born in '98. But the GameCube is where I got my start, is where I got my feet wet with gaming, and I have been a freaking cyborg, netic gamer ever since. Freakazoid, all types of shit. But you don't talk about gaming without mentioning Super Mario, and I feel like it's criminal if you, in any form or fashion, have not had some sort of encounter or experience with Mario and Luigi. So this obviously goes in S tier. Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hold up to my promise, because we already got 4. I said I don't want more than 5 in here, and I see maybe 2 or 3 titles that are definitely gonna have to be S tier. Maybe, we'll see. We going to the next one. Let's go to Final Fantasy. I know this is small, guys. Hopefully I'll have this zoomed in for you, but this is Final Fantasy. Now, this is another one like Legends of Zelda. I'm finna get ripped apart. I'm finna get ripped apart. Hey, listen, I'll give y'all my lawyer's contact information. Talk to them. Don't talk to me. But no, all jokes aside, Final Fantasy is epic, so I've heard. But again, this is just one that I just can't get behind. And you know what? I'm about to piss y'all off real bad. Not only am I putting this one in C tier, I'm moving Zelda down to C tier. I'm sorry. You're lucky I don't put it in D tier. It's on the same level as Fear. Now, when Fear was up and running, it wasn't terrible. Hence why I put it down there. Okay, that's not fair. That's not fair. B tier. Okay, final answer. They both go in B tier because if I would have done that, if I would have got away with it, y'all were gonna be pissed. Y'all were gonna be pissed. So let me fix that. I know I'm gonna still get, sent to the cleaners for even having these two in B tier, but it is what it is. Bite me. You know what? I think I want to briefly speak about Halo. Oh man. Fuck. Now that I mention it, I probably shouldn't have picked this one because it's about to be more of the same. And I don't think I'm about to gain a lot of new subscribers because of this. I never physically played Halo. I have seen gameplay of Halo and it looks fun. It looks amazing. I think that Halo is, if you weren't playing Halo when Halo was big and bad and bougie, you were playing Gears of War. And I was a Gears of War baby. That was the first shooter, even before Call of Duty. That was the first shooter that I really got into and took hold of. And this is back when the online scene was absolutely diabolical. Like, you think the online scene in Call of Duty and the game chats and shit be wild today? If you were gaming back then as a freaking 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old kid, oh, you were in the mix. And if you were good, you were in the lobbies making grown men cry. Although I never got to experience it when it was at its apex, I do know the impact that it's had on its players, which was the same as the impact that Gears of War, and I would even say that Call of Duty had on their players. So this definitely deserves A tier. No, I'm not putting it in this. I'm not doing it. Next on the list, let's talk Metal Gear. Metal Gear is one of those games that kind of reminds me of Fear, only in the conversation of it is a bit slower. It does have very, actionable sequences and themes at times, but Metal Gear is more so one of those kind of niche games. Like, it does only a handful of things very good, and I feel like Splinter Cell was a little bit better than Metal Gear in that Splinter Cell, both of these are like, military special forces kind of games, but Splinter Cell to me still felt more grounded and realistic, so to speak. Metal Gear did have that feel, but Metal Gear was just, it was kind of childish sometimes. Like, I forget which one, but there was a Metal Gear where if the enemies caught you, they would do some kind of weird thing to alert the enemies, or I think it would have like a surprise kind of notification come up, like something that you would see up in like Apex Legends, or not Apex Legends, I'm sorry, but like Fortnite or something like that. And let me kind of speak toward that real fast. I didn't include games like Apex Legends or Fortnite or anything like that, but I did include Call of Duty because Call of Duty has titles. There's a Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty has sequels, prequels, but although Apex does have a story and it does have seasons, those aren't, and it is technically a franchise. I didn't include it because, there aren't separate. Apex is its own thing. Like, Apex is just a big, battle royale. That's like if I would have just threw on Warzone on here. I wouldn't just separately put Warzone on here. I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry if it doesn't make sense, but I hope that does make sense. But going back to Metal Gear, I hope my explanation of why I kind of had a problem with Metal Gear made sense. Maybe it didn't. But if you played Metal Gear back when it was kind of on and popping, you would get what I'm saying. I don't know if that was a good example that I gave, but that's as best as I can explain it. So for that, I'm not gonna lie, Metal Gear might be D tier. Metal Gear might be D tier because it fell off bad. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Metal Gear is gonna be D tier. I'm sorry, that's the first D tier. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Moving right along, I think we go ahead and talk about Fallout. Man, let me tell you something about Fallout. I don't remember shit about Fallout. D tier. Mortal Kombat. Let me just bring Scorpion in here to help me out so y'all can understand how passionate I am about Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was one of those games that I thoroughly enjoyed. It is not the same as it was. Mortal Kombat 11 was pretty good. I haven't played Mortal Kombat 1. I think Mortal Kombat 11 might have been the last one that I played. MK9 was off the chain. But obviously this is one of those that the earlier versions are carrying it. The later versions have... See, the problem with games today is a lot of them are essentially money grabs. A lot of games have a lot of microtransactions. Call of Duty. What made these games so good back then was because it was an experience. What you see is what you got. You had to work hard at these games to be very good at them. There was a pretty good progression system in most of these games. They actually required skill. Not anybody can get on these games and just be a freaking movement god who has aimbot and can't stop aiming at me even when I'm behind a wall. Mortal Kombat goes to B tier. Since we brought it up, Call of Duty. Man, don't I have a lot of shit to say about this game. So Call of Duty is one of those games where I feel count how many times I've said it's one of those games. But Call of Duty is something that I didn't get on the wave of immediately. I didn't start playing Call of Duty consistently until Black Ops 3. I didn't start playing online consistently until Black Ops 4. But ever since, Black Ops 4, when I was really bumping and jumping in the online scene, and I know people have been smoking kids online a lot earlier than Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 4. And I wish I was online in the earlier stages of the game, but I was just late to the party with this one, because when this game was really in its prime, because let's be honest, Call of Duty is out of its prime right now. Still a hell of a lot of people playing it, but the game has a lot of issues, but that could be another video for another day. I was again bumping and grinding in Gears of War. Gears of War was my jam when I was, curb stomping, locusts. In Gears of War, other people were playing Call of Duty. But Call of Duty has a special place in my heart, I guess you can say, because of Warzone. Warzone changed the gaming industry, and no one can deny that. Warzone has hella issues today, but you can't deny the impact that along with how COD has transitioned over time, has really impacted the gaming industry. A lot of cues that other companies have used in their games have kind of originated from Call of Duty. So with that, I think Call of Duty definitely goes up in A tier. I can't put it in S because of Warzone. And yes, I do have to include Warzone as a part of this, but like a game that doesn't have actual titles, like again Apex, like Fortnite, I just can't include them as separate entities when they don't have multiple titles like the rest of these games. Next in line is going to be, all four of these are so good. We're gonna go Resident Evil. I have played quite a few Resident Evil games. I didn't play the last one, which was Resident Evil Village, but Story wise, that had to be my favorite story, how everything wrapped up with the baby and that eventually became, you know, I think she became like a teenager or maybe a young adult by the end of it. It's kind of, I guess, borderline spoilers, but this series is essentially, it speaks for itself. Resident Evil is an amazing series, and do y'all hear all these cars driving by? I hope it's not coming through my mic, but I believe it is. Resident Evil was amazing. I think that it deserves to be in B tier. I can't put it in A. I could put it in A. Oh, is it on the same level as Splinter Cell and fucking Zelda? Nah. Resident Evil goes up in A tier. I'm not gonna be mean to Resident Evil. Grand Theft Auto. A game that changed my life. Let me tell you, there is nothing like getting in Grand Theft Auto, one of the earlier versions, and hitting up, down, X triangle, left, right, Z square, left, diagonal, left, right, and a tank spawns on the map. Come on. This game was a game that revolutionized, honestly, life. You could get in this game and pretend to be something else, which has its perks and its problems, but this was a great way to escape. Is it a violent game? Yes, depends on what lens you look at it through. Is it an inappropriate game? Again, it could be, depending on how you look at it and depending on the age of the kids that you're allowing to play it. Me playing, I mean, granted, I was very young when I was first playing this game. But even growing up and seeing it go all the way to GTA 5 and seeing how everything evolved, how the maps always got bigger, how the detail was always there, how the mechanics were always familiar. This gives me chills. Obviously, where else are we gonna put it? When are we getting Grand Theft Auto 6, by the way? These last two games are my two favorite gaming series of all time. Gears of War. Hey, it's S tier. Gears of War changed my life. This game made me laugh. This game made me very upset. This game made me very emotional. Gears of War 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there a Gears of War 5? I haven't played anything after 3, so again, don't beat me up about that. I've played Gears of War 1 through 3 several times. I can't tell y'all how much I've beat both of those campaigns. I can't tell y'all how many hours I put into multiplayer on all 3 of those titles. This game was so amazing. The story was so amazing, how everything connected, how everything was always referenced back. And in the future game, that what happened in part 1 would happen in part 2. Everything always tied in perfectly. And let me tell you, Marcus Phoenix is a bad man. But my favorite character was Dominic Toretto. Did I just say Dominic Toretto? Oh God.
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
My favorite character was Dom. We all know what happened to Dom in Gears of War 3. Man, that was, I'm still heartbroken from that. But then you got Cole, you got Baird, who was always wisecracking, joking and shit. Man, what a time to be alive. I would do anything to press a reset button and go back and fiddle with those games. Last but not least, and thank you guys for hanging out for this long if you're still here, God of War. Everything that I just said about Gears of War, Batman, Grand Theft Auto, it's that times 10 when it comes to Kratos and God of War. S tier. The development of character. This game was the very first game that made me truly understand the development of character. Kratos, we all know how he was in God of War 1, 2, and 3, God of War Ascension, bloodthirsty, angry, raging, spiteful. But man, we see him in God of War 2018. Completely different character, completely different retelling, calm, wise, a nurturer, has a son, a true father figure who's not trying to raise his son in his old ways or even allow his son to understand his old ways, because he understands that he needs to take a different path. This game really defines what resolve means, and I think this is a lesson that we can apply to our own lives. Goes to God of War Ragnarok, and this culminates everything that we've encountered in God of War. Everything from Kratos' past culminates into this one game where he essentially has to come to terms with who he is and accept who he was. The writing, the gameplay, the story, the side missions, there was literally nothing wrong with this series overall, but I hang my hat on the last two titles in this series, God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok. When you put those together and you look up and you look at what Kratos was versus what he eventually became, and then you throw God of War Ragnarok Valhalla in there too, and you see that progression and how he had to come face to face with himself to understand himself better and to understand that, hey, you were who you were, but this is who you are now. That's something that we can definitely apply to our lives, and what we can really use is motivation to not only want to be better, but to proactively try our best to do better. But that's the list. Hey, listen, if y'all got a problem where I put Zelda or Final Fantasy, come at me. But hey, you might want to get my lawyer's information